There are cameras in this room.
Got a couple tops?
If there's security cameras in this room, they can't stop because there's no reason why it's invasion of privacy.
Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
Can you, if I'm going to put this in my pocket.
Don't.
Well, I just don't want to hold it. I guess I can just hold it like this.
I got it.
That guy's a hoot.
Huh?
That guy's a hoot.
Hey, no taking in here. No taking. I'm sorry. You can't video it. You can't. You did. I watched what you did. You plugged the thing and you scanned the room.
You were on a big test. You saw it when you told me that video. I could see it was great. Right. Oh, they tell us that we have to remove and use a tree instead. They told me I got to replace it.
This is not going to show, I guarantee it.
I know, that's why I wanted to record it.
Well, when we do a recall, I think that we have enough people interested.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the next step, like have to do deep dive, later this week, and figure out like doing the recall. We're going to need people to donate money,
Yeah.
or we can just spend it and get reimbursed later or whatever. It's going to cost about $1,000, and
For like the mailings and stuff.
yeah, it's going to be a bear, but then we can get it out probably in like 2 weeks, mail it to everybody. Instead of this door-to-door stuff, we just mail it out.
Yeah.
And
It's more official.
if we can have, like, I don't know how that works, though, like postage paid envelopes, that kind of stuff, because that way people just put it right back in.
Yeah, we just have to stamp them.
Okay. Too easy.
We just include a stamped envelope.
Gotcha.
Once we get
Just
it,
like a wedding.
Once I get
I didn't do that part either. So.
Once I get the proxy form, we
Neither
work.
did he.
All you gotta do.
Good. What's that? Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think I don't have any. Just keep on doing good stuff. There's going to be 2 more that are going to point today. More than people.
What time is it?
I got a phone. 6:58.
Oh, that is a pain to fake smile.
What?
I wish I could fit in here, you know?
Oh, dang.
Yeah, they want to try and foreclose. That's their goal. They're trying to drive people out. I can't prove anything,
There's
but
no link to any. Like, no
Right.
one has any direct link.
in my opinion, they're just a bunch of assholes. It's just sorting along with you.
Yeah. Those are great questions. Because why else would they want to kick people out of their homes?
And I want to know how to get them off the homeowners association.
Yeah. I think that's what we all want. You do.
We're on your side, so you gotta get it. So you have to worry about it.
This is the
Lawyers talking to the cop. You're an officer of the court.
Yeah.
We have a profit. Well, right now they have a nice profit. Like year over year, it went up like $30,000. You know, from October last year to this year. They got 200 violations already with the guys that they got. People are fixing their stuff.
People standing outside.
I'm gonna try. We'll speak loud.
next thing you're going to place a little more.
Huh? I don't know. I've never seen her before.
Aren't Jessica, Ciabatta, or whatever the hell her name is.
No.
Well, 3 minutes, that's going to be done.
Oh, the library's mad.
Good job getting the bigger room. Quite an impression.
You got to go. Well, what is the project?
So the kid's not going to show up.
Are you willing to go up? No, that's yeah. Right.
Did you find security cameras in this room?
Just got
I think it's just motion sensors.
Right here. You're welcome. How are you? The right thing to do?
Everything I have has writing on it.
Well, that's fine. There's nothing with it. They can get their names. I don't know. No? I'm going to go to this. I'm going to
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started so that we can get to as many people as possible tonight. As you notice, Nick is not here. He had a death in the family. He may try to call in from the plane as soon as they get in the air if he has Wi-Fi. And then Jim is FaceTiming because he is in Alabama for work.
So is
You don't have a microphone to broadcast it? Good luck with that.
show how to repeat what it says.
If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My name is Scott White. I'm the treasurer, and I've been a homeowner for 20 years.
HOA Thursday. We have a quorum, therefore the meeting can proceed. I know we have a lot of people on the agenda tonight that want to speak, so in the interest of having everyone speak,
We can't hear in the back.
to push the adoption of the previous minutes back to the end. And Scott, if you can do a brief analysis of the financials for October, then we will move right on to Tiffany that has some opening statements. And Tiffany, I thank you very much for being a part of this meeting. I thank you for coming out. And Tiffany will address some of the concerns, and then we will hear from Everett. So Scott, if you would so graciously go through the financials for October.
Okay, I'm going to go through the financials. Let me know if you can't hear me. People rarely have a problem not hearing me. So basically, this is our financials as of the end of the month of October. We had a balance of $111,796 and some change. when you compare that to the previous year of 2018, we're in very good shape. We're substantially ahead of where we were in 2018, so we're good there. We did have about $9,817 in various bills. Some of the very large ones were the Metro storage. We have a storage unit that we keep all the HOA stuff in, the projectors and different things like that, signs, anything like that goes into that storage unit for the whole year. So that rental, that's why you're seeing one of the reasons you're seeing a very large bill. We also had some attorney fees that also accounted for some of it. You know, and then a variety of other expenses. Now, let me tell you right up front, this is posted on our website, www.boyettsprings.com, under documents. You can go see any of the last 15 financial reports on there. They're there for the viewing. You're going to see exactly what a lot of you have had the good fortune to have in your hand that I couldn't hand out. In terms of income, we made a little over $1,135 for the month, so that helped to offset it. Last month, we didn't have nearly as many bills. The next 2 pages are the budget, and again, you can go through the right column that says month, and you'll see everything that's broke out against what we budgeted for the year. But as an HOA board, we budgeted for $40,000, $511.88. We try to use the previous year along with what we think is coming up. We don't always know, but so far we've always been able to come in under budget. And right now we currently have $5,950 left in our projected budget, which means we're ahead, and we're here in November, so I project that we will be on budget for what we said we would spend for the entire year. We haven't exceeded that amount. Basically, if anybody wants to ask any questions, feel free to come up to me after the meeting, because we have so many that want to talk. I'd be more than happy to answer any question you have with regard to the finances of the HOA. All I can tell you is they're in very good shape, and as far as that goes, and we do have sufficient money to pay our bills and to do more. There's one question. Do you want me to entertain that?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Why can we not direct questions so that everybody can hear?
Only because I thought, oh, there's a lot of people that want to talk tonight, that's all.
I know, but if somebody had a question about the financials, why is it gotta be, with you privately?
It's not. Do you have a question you want to ask right now? At other meetings, I would take the question. When there's 4 or 5 homeowners here, I take the questions. I've never had this situation where we've had so many people here since I've been the treasurer for 2.5 years. So normally I'd be happy to take the questions. So I'd be happy to answer.
I have 2 questions.
Go ahead.
Who audits our books? And why are we so over budget on attorney fees?
Well, as far as auditing goes, we have had full audits in the past. We will have additional audits in the future.
When was the last time they were audited?
Right here, December 31st, 2014, we did a full audit. Oh, this is the, what is this?
Wrong year.
Oh, I'm
We had it
sorry.
done in 2007.
I'm sorry, 2018. 17. I apologize.
I don't even know.
Yes, we do know.
Who was
Follow the rules, please.
It's posted on the
It's posted on the
website.
website as well.
It's there for anybody to look at. Okay, that we don't want to take any more questions on the treasurer, but I'd be happy to afterwards, and then we do it in a group, okay?
We want to hear it, we really do.
We want to hear it.
Why are the attorney fees so high?
So I can answer part of that. I'm a new attorney. You had a previous attorney before. We're in a fee dispute with him currently, and so that's getting resolved. But that's a separate issue for me. I think I was retained in May.
Are you on the board?
No, I'm not.
Oh, can we ask the board members questions? That'd be okay.
So the attorney fee issues, there's outstanding issues with the prior council who did certain.
How much did it cost to send me a cease and desist order last week so I stopped passing out these flyers to my neighbors?
Same here.
How much did they pay? How much did the association pay?
They don't pay anything at this
I wait your email though, Tiff.
So let me explain to you. First of all,
Can I get 1 second? We are still in the library, okay? We're adults, we know what that means. You'll recognize.
what we're going to do is have a maximum and we're going to go across the room and everyone can get their time, but before we begin, I wanted to address certain things that there's clearly some confusion and misstatements about what's happening with the association. So I'll start with the rules and regulations. You've been told, I'm going to do mine, then there's...
I think that all the homeowners are here on board. If I want to talk with a lawyer, you are all employers from all the homeowners association, not just the board. Then we put all our faith in them to fight for our rights. Then we need to know why they are doing this. I understand that you cannot reply that question to me because it's not your concern.
Yeah, we're asking the board, not you. Well, you must understand that we have retained her services to address you folks. So for tonight, we are asking her to answer a lot of the questions. So she is talking for us right now. Did we ask you to do that?
My role right now is to help educate you as members because I don't think everyone understands.
We can't hear her.
If I may ask, why has my email asking you wish to make this an adversarial matter not been answered? I've already retained an attorney. I have him on list for tomorrow, should you choose to do an action, and I have him on board to a cease and desist. So why did you not answer my email of board meeting?
Are you asking me? I don't.
Not you personally.
I haven't received one email from you.
I have gone to court. I have requested, 2013, was when my first market was, and since then I have sent copies of it, and no one has replied. And as I said, should you decide something that's contrary to the common interest, Mr. Levin will not cease and desist.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe you bring your email or let me know who you directed it to. Because I don't know. Well, we're going to do this a little bit differently. Instead of everyone is shouting out and dirty things that are really not pertinent to the membership as a whole.
Wait. It's all pertinent to us.
Let's go one at a time. If people don't follow the decorum, then we're going to adjourn the meeting and we won't have a meeting. So, first of all.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out for you.
Do you guys want to hear what actually what is happening, or do you want to just, where do you want to hear? Okay. So, the issue is with the rules and regulations, and I clearly did not bring enough copies of this particular case, because there's never been this many people at a meeting before. But it is great that everyone wants to participate, I will say that. So with regard to the rules and regulations, your declaration provides specific restrictions that the board follows and is charged with enforcement of those restrictions. We can agree on that. Now, in addition to that, the board also has authority to create rules and regulations based on the authority in the declaration. They're not exceeding that, and I could pass around some of these things. I only made 10 copies, so you guys might have to share, which explains how the board can do this and they can vote on these particular things. Now, that authority, if anyone...
Please allow her to
The authority, if anyone brought their declaration with them... If anyone...
If you've done this to the amendments, turn over to page 5, Article 2.6.
We're not...
We have to follow the quorum or we won't have a meeting.
I'm going to continue with my statement.
I motion to let him speak.
It's not a membership meeting.
It doesn't work that way.
So, in order to pass rules and regulations, you have to have authority in your declaration, which we have. And if you guys want to know the specific provision, I believe it's 11.2. Does anyone have their declaration with them?
What is this we're receiving here?
This is a case that actually...
So these are cases? These are other cases? What about our
case file?
I'm directing you to that. Can you please let me...
Can we talk about our bylaws? that govern our
association, it's only the common areas.
That's an interesting point.
All right, to address the common area question, if you look to your declaration, properties is defined on page 2 of the declaration, and that includes all lots, homes that are subject to the declaration. So that's where the properties, the common area, what the declaration applies to is considered the properties, and it goes through lot by lot in there if you want to look.
Actually, common area is not defined in the document.
Right. We're seeking to 11.2, but you don't have common property, you have the properties that the entire declaration applies to.
11.2 also mentions members, not the board
My
voting.
property is not common area.
Part of the association.
If you come onto my property, I have the right
It's
to.
subject to the declaration. You do this to have so with that, and this is why the case is important, because it says as long as you have authority within the declaration, you can create rules and regulations that do not conflict with the declaration. So we can't have a provision in the declaration, let's say towing, for example. If your declaration does not say you can tow for certain things, you cannot create a rule that suddenly gives you authority to allow for towing. And that's where the difference is. And so you can create rules, reasonable rules and regulations. And if you look at the case, what it specifically states is that a declaration cannot provide every single restriction or every single requirement for homeowners, and so there is discretion for the board. And that's what the court found in that particular situation. So when you look at the rules and regulations that have been provided to you, every single rule in here has authority under the declaration. So in fact, most of the sections specify where that authority is found. So when you go through your declaration and you look at use restrictions, and it talks about, this is in section 5, and it talks about lawful use, it talks about rentals and leases, it talks about the maintenance requirements and all of these things. It says it very generally. The board then can explain what that means. So when you talk about lot upkeep and there can't be debris, or there can't be an eyesore, or there can't be certain things, what does that mean? That's within their discretion too.
It says the association, not the board. The association is the members and the board.
If you read the case, it's specifically the board of directors has that power. Now,
You're telling me the board of directors.
It does not supersede Florida law. 2/3 of us have the right to vote on this.
Whatever the hell it wants to do.
That's what you're trying to tell us.
Madam, could you please read section 11.2 to the crowd? Read 7.2, 11.2.
Okay.
In your outside voice?
Yes.
As provided in the bylaws, the association from time to time may adopt, alter, amend, rescind, and enforce reasonable rules and regulations governing the use of the properties, that big definition that I just said.
Consistent with the rights and duties established by this declaration.
The association's procedures for enforcing its rules and regulations at all times must provide the affected owner with reasonable notice prior and a reasonable opportunity to be heard in person or through representatives of such owner's choosing. That's relating to the fining process by statute.
What you were trying to do
This is not,
is,
you're not on the
without, it's over your scope.
You have not been acknowledged.
Consider with the rights and duties established by this declaration. If you want to challenge this in court, I'm sure we'll get plenty of people in here to contribute to our cause.
That's fine. If you guys want to look at your rules and regulations, the ones that have been proposed. So, for example,
You are beating a dead horse.
If you disrupt again, we're going to ask you to leave or have you escorted out.
Well, if you refuse to answer our questions, why should we
You're
have
not
to be
even
here?
letting him have a chance to let her have a chance.
She's been talking for 5 minutes.
We got our time. We'll get our time.
You've got our time.
Let's not cancel this.
That's all we have to do in this fairness for everyone.
please stand in the middle of the room and make it easier for all to hear. Okay.
Yes,
We don't have this equipment. So if you look at section 1 of the rules and regulations regarding use of lots, the authority in the declaration for what is being proposed in the rules and regulations, you can find it in section 5, 5.9, 5.10, 5.10.1.
Are you on the declarations or bylaws?
You do have your declaration, I can show you. That's not the full declaration. Let's see. No, this is not for a condo. I don't think you have a full section.
Okay.
To the declaration. To the declaration. We're not amending the declaration. No, we're not. It's not amendment.
You can't amend deed restrictions without a vote.
This is not amending the declaration.
Yes, you are.
What's the difference
No.
from 5 years ago when they had a vote?
It's the same.
No,
So-
it's not.
Here.
That's what's the
If it's not,
I'm just going to give an example. I'm going to give an example. 5.2 of the declaration says, rental releases. Each owner who rents their lot shall provide the leasing of the property of the day of deed restrictions and shall obtain a signed receipt, blah, 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 blah. They should create a rule on how you need to submit the lease application and how you need to submit that to the association. Now, if you look at
I'm at the adoption of 2014, 5 years ago.
They're not an amendment. If you look at the declaration, they work with the declaration in its existence. So it's not changing anything that's in there. The authority is already provided in your
So
declaration.
who came up with the clarifications?
We worked on them together.
Who did?
The board of directors.
So we added the things like coverage around the AC.
No, that's in your declaration.
No, it's not. The AC is not. Water softeners is the only thing that are covered in there.
5.23.
you're telling me that
Hold on.
declaring that my window shades have to match the color of my house is not an amendment?
Hey guys, these rules are pertaining to
You're telling
condominiums.
me that you can come into my
This is
house
pertaining to
and tell me
condominiums.
that my window curtains don't match the color of my house.
Did you want aluminum foil on your windows?
Yeah, I want aluminum foil on my window. What the hell is it?
Established the CBD back in the 80s. Mark Straley was the attorney. I worked with Mark Straley. This is the first community development district that was established in the state of Florida. In order to establish the CDD, you get public financing bonds. We are now 30 plus years. The bonds have been bought, paid, and whatever. We are no longer in debt. The developer has been paid. There is no more future development. So, with that being said, I've been a homeowner since 2004, and at that time, I did work for Mark Straley. I am curious, why do we still need, the key word is need, deed restrictions and the declaration of covenants of restrictions? Because we are no longer a risk to the bonds, to the developer. We are now a individual homeowner. We now own our own property. So what is the benefit of having these rules anymore? And I think what I am speaking is basically what each person is feeling. So I'm asking you, I'm not an expert, I'm not a lawyer, I am just a secretary. And I do understand the position you're in, and God bless you, ma'am. And I think that is the frustration here, is that why do we have the deed restrictions? Why do we have the covenants when we are no longer responsible for the bond issuance? And I don't think that people know that we're no longer responsible. So.
Can we let her respond now?
And I'm done. Was that a good valid question for you?
But this association was never a CDD. Your community was never under a community development.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
William Springs Community Development District. It was the first original established by Mark Straley of Acreman Center Park. That I do know. What?
What year was it?
1986. Okay, I'm not sure what year.
In general, a CDD is separate from an association in every state.
Oh, I do know, but because we were a CDD, all these rules were established to cover the financing to DevCo development so that they had the money to to build this home?
Two separate things though. So a CDD is run very differently because it's responsible for the property. Usually it's when you have a golf course or amenities or pools and things like that, and you're paying through your taxes for those things.
Exactly.
Here that was never established.
Okay.
This is an association separate from any CDD, and the association itself is provided with the enforcement rights and the restrictions pursuant to the articles in the bylaws that have already been reported.
But let me throw a question on there about enforcement rights of the HOA. Paddock Oaks, Boyette Oaks, Bell Creek, Hammock were all built before Boyette Springs was built. I have several neighbors who are in Boyette Oaks before Boyette Springs was built. As a matter of fact, there was a fence that went across the back of the road right down there by the school. All of a sudden, this HOA absorbed Boyette Oaks, not the other one. I want to know what the authority is to make Boyette Oaks part of Boyette Springs when we are not part of Boyette Springs. The only word I got every time I keep asking is that all of a sudden the neighbors, because I have a neighbor that was there, built his house there when everything was a pasture. And he said he just got a letter in the mail telling him he had to start paying into this HOA, and I want to know why.
I mean, so I don't know what happened or if there was an agreement, but back when the association was established, there was consent to be a part of this community. And so that's where, and I don't know where your property is. If you wanted to give me your address, we can look and see exactly where it is. But when you look at the declaration and it says which lots are subject to Boyette Springs, that's where we would find who is actually subject to this at this point. This declaration. Now, another association might have a separate restrictions based on their own association if they have one, but as far as this community for Boyette Springs, we can go through and identify every single piece of lot.
Oh no, according to you all, my property is in there, but the thing is, like I said, Boyette Oaks was there way before Boyette Springs was built, and whenever somebody built this board or set a board up, decided that, oh, let's incorporate this in it too.
It was the entire community that.
No, nobody has the community. I've checked with everybody that's been living in a community.
I mean, you could go into a title search, but there's all of these records.
I'm just saying, nobody's asked anybody in the community. Nobody in that community voted on it.
2006, it had a vote, but it failed, and I traveled for work, and I guess they passed the vote after when I went out of town and came back.
Like I said, nobody in that community that I've talked to include people that's there from the very start, did not vote to be part of this HOA.
We afford her the courtesy to go ahead and explain this thing, and then everybody can write while the rest of us go home.
Agreed. I ain't buying what they're selling either, but let's let them talk and dig their hole even deeper, okay?
Well, the thing of it is, I think we'd like to start taking, a lot of folks signed up to speak. And if people are raising their hands in the audience, I understand they have a lot of questions, but unfortunately, then you're cutting off the people who did ask to speak.
Yeah.
So we really want to give those folks an opportunity to take their 3 minutes and try to get as many of them done as we can.
So we're gonna go down the list and let each person speak for their 3 minutes. Scott's gonna keep time so you can see it. You can speak from your chair, you can come to the front, whichever you're more comfortable with. And then Tiffany will take an opportunity to respond to any questions that you have.
I just have a quick question before we start doing that. Is it gonna even matter to you what each person gets up and says 3 minutes for?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not, I mean, is it even gonna be heard and thought of?
Like, would you
Considered.
change your mind on what
Yes.
you're about to pass? Okay.
Because nothing's been passed, nothing's been voted on. This was simply just what was proposed, and which is why we were having this meeting, which is why we put the document out there.
Are you saying in front of everybody here right now, we have to take a vote on stopping the clarifications, that you vote to stop those clarifications?
We're not voting right now, we're
So,
simply.
okay, that's fine, but I'm saying, are you willing to take a vote from who's here right now, your homeowners, the homeowners that are here in front of you, okay? If they motion to let's go ahead and take a vote from the homeowners and then ask you board members, will you stop what you're doing with the clarifications and actually put this amendments, clarifications, whatever you want, legally you want to use on it, will you put it to an actual vote to the members here? To the members, put it out in a vote. Will you actually say that? Will you say that in front of the homeowners who you actually work for?
Right now, we're literally just trying to hear what everyone has to say and get information. So we'll start on the list.
We work for 1,100 homeowners.
Exactly, so put all
All right, we don't have 1,100 here.
So put 1,100.
Let's go ahead and
We'll get the
started.
votes.
We wanna
You don't
get
worry
to
about
as
that.
many people as possible. So, Jamie, you want to go first?
Yeah, so just to remind everyone, you guys are the association. They're just the board. Okay, you guys have the power. Whatever they're saying, you don't have to listen to. They ain't in charge of nothing. We are. Next, I was going to argue about why what they're doing or what they want to do is illegal because of the Florida statutes and 2.3 and the deed restrictions. And what this lawyer is going to tell you is that the deed restrictions give them the authority to pass this unilaterally, right? Without our vote, which is fine. You can go on thinking that. But shouldn't the question not, or shouldn't the answer from the board, Scott White, when I talked to you on Facebook, where you said we do have the legal authority to do this, shouldn't the question be, well, even if you did have legal authority, which you don't, because we're going to challenge it in court, shouldn't the question be, hey, we should let you guys vote if it's controversial? There might not be 1,100 homes represented in this room, but hey, everybody, by show of hands, who thinks they deserve a vote? Raise your hand. You think that you're going to get homeowners who aren't in here not to agree with everybody? You guys are homeowners too. I didn't see your hands up. Exactly. So this is what you got. You got these three people up here who are saying they represent you, and not a single one of them raised their hand. They don't work for you. They don't work for you. They work for their own self-interest. Now, with my minutes, hang on, let me finish this up real quick. This lawyer, everybody pull out your phones. Sorry, buddy. Everybody pull out your phones, and I want you to Google Bush Ross Law Firm, Tampa Bay Times. And what you're going to find is a story about a family that had been in their home for 12 years, lost their home over a $150 fee, and Bush Ross took them to the mat. That's how they make money. And when we take this lawyer to court, this one that sent me a cease and desist, just for talking to my neighbors, when we take you to court, they would love to take us to the mat because she wins even if she loses. She gets that money. Who wrote these deed restrictions, these proposed deed restrictions? She did. Who is going to financially benefit once these deed restrictions get enacted? Her law firm. Okay? I want the board to make a motion to immediately dismiss this lawyer because of a conflict of interest.
This is not a membership.
You see what I'm talking about? They don't work. I'm not working for us. They're working for them. This is about money, people. This is about money. And in 2 weeks, everyone here is going to receive a recall letter in the mail. Fill it out. Every board member gone. Every board member gone. And you will have names for people who are going to take their place. Sign it, return it. I'll pay the postage. I help you. Who's next?
Aaron Trenton, very new to the neighborhood, but what I saw was a consistent tone coming from the board anytime anybody spoke up against them. They talked down to people. They told you if you don't like it, you can move, you can get out. Okay, that's what they've told the people. Instead of listening to people. Okay, regardless of what we each feel about what's on those pieces of paper, end of the day, this is who you're supposed to be working for, not her. So when we pose questions to you guys, they're to you as also homeowners. So in my opinion, everybody should be absolutely afraid of any board that stops listening to the homeowners. That uses the easiest method of getting their message across besides putting something in your mail. Put it in their mail, put it through a vote. This should not even go any further than it did. It should have stopped a long time ago, but unfortunately, our board meetings typically only because people are busy, they've got lives, people have cancer, people have parents they've got to take care of. I met a lot of years that did not even know that this was even going on. They've got lives. And do you guys care about that? That's my standpoint? No, you absolutely don't. If 5, 6, 7, 8 people can get together and walk the street and pass out this board meeting memo without getting a cease and desist letter for practicing our First Amendment right, because you think that that's going to scare somebody, you're wrong. It doesn't.
The threatening behavior to the board.
What threatening behavior did I do?
Boo!
You're not on the board. You're not on the board.
I never threatened anybody. I had great conversations with you. Anybody that wants to sit down and talk to me, I'm not a threatening person. It's not in my nature.
They like to threaten 10-year-old boys, though. Did you like to do that?
Never threatened anybody.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
I want to speak. I'm on that list.
I am.
I don't know about.
Next we have Caitlin Mack.
Yes, you do. He talked to you.
Caitlin, okay.
All right.
Just want to make a point about how they're saying these proposed clarifications, whatever they are going to bring up property values. Actually, I have the numbers that show that it really doesn't matter. It's not really have to do with our, stricting up our fee restrictions or anything like that. In comparison to two neighborhoods very, very close to us, within 2 miles of us, Christina, which is a very small neighborhood, but it has no HOA, no amenities or anything like that. But they sold average per square foot in the past 180 days for 132.4, and they sold. It took a little while to sell and everything, but they still were a similar kind of comparison. Now, Lakes of Christina, as we all know, does have an HOA with similar deed restrictions, but no amenities as well as us and everything. They sold per square foot 130 and a quarter, and they sold probably about a month. Took about a month to sell at least. Wyatt Springs, on average, sold price per square foot, our neighborhood, 130 and 27 cents. With the smaller, cheaper HOA and the deed restrictions as they are, they only took on average about 2 weeks to sell. So that just proves that we are right where we are. Everything is good. I don't see where property values would be different.
Emily Paget?
Yes.
So I have a question for the board about, you've created this system to have stricter rules and to have more aggressively enforce the deed restrictions, as Jim Mason said in his March 12th email to our former attorney, that his plan was to aggressively enforcing the current deed restrictions in a much more aggressively than ever before. So with that plan, there has never been any talk of the DRCC. Our current deed restrictions and covenants state in section 12.6.2 that a committee of at least 3 persons, the DRCC, appointed by the board, who are not officers, directors, employees of the association, or the spouse, parent, or child, brother, sister of an officer, director, or employee. If the DRCC does not by a majority vote to approve or a fine or suspension, the same may not be imposed. So you've created this elaborate system of new rules, but no way to have all of us who are homeowners speak to a DRCC because one doesn't exist.
Why?
Laura's husband is on the DRCC.
So do we have a DRCC? Do we have a plan to create a DRCC?
I think we have a president of the DRCC, don't we? Who's that?
We have a right to know.
Are you going to tell?
Right now, we are establishing the DRCC.
Bull.
We all got an equal. We all talked to your husband who's on the DRCC.
How are you passing out violations of the DRCC?
Oh, let her finish.
You can enforce through violation letters, put on notice, no fining. If you actually want to fine someone, it has to be before, you have to have a hearing, an opportunity for a hearing before you get an independent fine.
To the DRCC.
So there to my knowledge, nobody has.
So then how many violations should get thrown out for further
There are two separate things. You can still enforce through injunctive relief or other measures, not through fining if you don't have a DRCC. Why are we here?
What are the other injunctive measures?
I don't, yeah.
So if someone failed to comply, like for example, if there was someone who had in their yard, built a whole different structure in their front yard, and that's against your rules. You can't have a structure in your front yard, and the association sent a violation letter and they didn't comply. You can move forward with a lawsuit against
Who the
that
hell
person
would do
to force them
that?
to comply.
So put a lien on their house are the other injunctive measures.
So a lien is for assessments or a monetary obligation. That is not the case. An injunction would be to get the court to say, yes, they need to actually remove the structure or they're in contempt. So it's getting a court
order.
to actually state that. It's not, has nothing to do with the fine. It would not be a lien on the property.
I would like to volunteer.
Hang on. Just sorry to interrupt you real quick, bro. Just give her the thing.
I'd like to volunteer for the DRC. No one doesn't.
All volunteer for DRCC.
I volunteer.
Because my husband
They're the ones who write the volunteer for president. What's that? I mean, it's the new. You can. I guess it's hard. So she didn't admit that her husband's on the DRCC. He's on the DRCC, right? Yeah. So why aren't we?
Alright, we'll start passing that around. We'll keep going. It's Sam.
Just real quick, we can answer if there's president of DRCC right now. Is there not a president of DRCC?
No, not right now.
So
Was there 2 months ago?
I got a question.
I just want to have.
We're taking people in order.
So there's no one on the DRCC.
Right now, the DRCC is still being established. There are people on the DRCC, but it has not been
Who are
established.
Why can't we know that?
Because people are still volunteering, obviously, so we're still establishing the DRCC.
Has there been any fines?
There have been no fines. There have been no fines.
You're trying to create situations to find people without a DRCC. So you're going to get injunctions. You're going to get all these other things. Bull.
Sam. All right, we're gonna let Sam speak real quick.
You cannot impose a fine without a fining review committee. That's why there's
We don't care. We don't. There's somebody who's on the DRCC who's married to somebody on the board, which is illegal. It's against Florida statute.
And the bylaws.
No, so
Or it's in the bylaws. Yeah.
as far as I know, there has not been any fining review here.
I'm not asking about finding. I'm talking about the DRCC.
No, this is not moved forward. And so no, that person, if he's a spouse of someone, he cannot be a voting member and someone that.
So he was a member. So KC couldn't be.
He's not a voting member.
He can inspect the community and report violations.
What if he's not a homeowner?
So was he there at the HOA meetings when you had him at the house? Was he there at the HOA?
Let's allow these folks to speak that have signed up.
Sorry, Sam.
That's
As
okay.
opposed to everyone that just wants to chime in, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy. Tiffany, we already had a heat exchange. I'm apologizing for that. But you got a pretty impressive resume there, kiddo. 14 directorships, or you're on some committee or board. That's phenomenal. And for such a young age, I mean, that's great. Rising star. But I do have some questions for you. What training do you have that makes you an HOA specialist? Now, I see you have all this, but I don't see anything about HOAs here, other than you gave a couple of classes at Sunday.
No, I mean, I've been working at community association law for 12 years. I'm not as young as I look, so I appreciate the compliment.
No, I know how old you are because it's posted on your website.
It doesn't say that.
35, it said on
On the Bar
But
Association.
anyhow, I do my due diligence.
So,
you know.
community association law, board certifications came out 2 years ago. You have to be a member every 5 years, or you've been grandfathered. So most of the people that are currently board certified in community association law have been doing this for 20 or 30 years. I sit for my exam next August, and that's because that was the soonest date I was eligible. I've been an attorney for 8 years. I was a paralegal for 6 years before.
I've got all that. I just want to know about, was there something special? Because I could read 720. I was going to ask, can I be a specialist?
No, I've been
Or-
approved by the Department of Business and Professional
And,
Regulation to do training.
Yeah, I want to be a lawyer, but I read 720.
You can go to
I mean,
law.
I could become an expert in homeowners association jargon here. But anyhow, how many cases have you mitigated in mediation or cases?
Oh, hundreds.
There you
More
go.
than that, probably.
Okay, there's method to my madness. Did you read the CCRs? Did you help develop those?
Good.
Okay.
I didn't develop them. Those were already
That's great.
existent. Actually, I think
Because-
it was Dan Pilka that did that.
Well, Dan and yourself should have really looked at them. Because I know you're in violation of federal law, the Florida statutes, and you have us cleaning easements that belong to the county. So, flags, near dear to my heart, 22 years in the military. Love it. Good. 3.5 by 5 is what you want to let us have. The state says 720.304 states 4 by 6 is what you can fly. But obviously, you're going to tell us that. I mean, I'm just saying, if we're going to be honest and fair.
Flags that people sometimes put on their property.
Flag 2. Right there is 720.304. That'd be a test question when you just heard it.
The restrictions, your covenants are generally present. There are protections for American flags, yes.
But we need to change that in that CCR. But it was written, you were supposed to have reviewed this thing. USC code, what was it? On the placement of satellite dishes. There's no exclusion that you can't put it in your front yard. It's where you get your best reception. But yet again, we're limiting us where there is no exclusion to that.
Sir, that is your 3 minutes.
Yeah, I bet.
I motion to let him continue to speak.
But
I'll give you my 3 minutes.
But
I give you my 3 minutes.
But at the end of the day, there's all kind of things here that we as a group need to go. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I mean, I was in the military. I had to do what I was told, when I was told. No problem with rules. But what I have problems when we get all hairy, scary, and crazy. I've been here since 1996. It's a long time. I remember old Kimberly there when she was 7 years old. She moved into this neighborhood. But but when I was here, it was voluntary. We didn't even have one. Do you know the number one question they ask a realtor when they get in the car? Is there a homeowners association involved? We're going to devalue our homes. They're 30 years old. It's like an old lady who gets wrinkled and an old man, gets old and gray and bald like me. You can't put more hair on me. You know what I'm saying? It costs money. And this is where we're at 30 years. We got what we've got. We love our neighborhood.
You're taking up other people's time.
No, they gave him his time.
No, it doesn't work.
But at any rate,
Read the rules. I made a motion.
I just wanted to tell you that, and the other thing I'm going to tell you is I will file an grievance with the Hillsborough Bar Association, if you're a member of the board, and with the Florida State Attorneys Bar Association for misrepresentation, non-due diligence, and a couple other things. I work right across the hall from the state attorney. She talked to me, and I didn't ask her for legal advice. I told her what I was going to do, and she said, "Sounds like you got a plan. It'll probably come to us for review." Because I believe in my rights as an American. You see, I go to other countries not to steal oil, rape women, and take babies and do all this. I go to give people democracy. Danny would know what we're talking about when you knock on doors, when you see women in bathrooms where their husbands lock them up for a day, and we bang them doors in and the women will come outside. Your heart will bleed. And we're sitting here pissing away our rights of home ownership. My right begins where your right ends. And that's at the damn property stake, not your eyesight. I'm sorry. That's what I believe in. There's 10 amendments. But thank you, people, for allowing me to speak.
Tori?
My family bought our first home. It was a starter home in 1988. There was no HOA. A year or two later, the builders started pushing a few members of the community to start an HOA. And as Jennifer told you earlier, we know why they started the HOA. Although everybody voted against the HOA, it just mysteriously became effective. So, big deal. Few rules, no big deal. Common sense stuff, people. No horses in your backyard. No. Don't paint your house black with pink polka dots. No problem with that either. And life went on. And then our development grew.
Now, my starter home was down on Vermilion. That's what we call the cheap side of the neighborhood. Over the years, houses kept getting built in groups. And then what happened was these new groups of homes got different deed restrictions. Don't know how that happened, but it did. So let's fast forward. 1999, we built into one of those new sections. I live by the elementary school now and have since 99. Deed restrictions I got in 88 did not look like anything I got in 99. So then someone said around 2012, 13, somewhere in that neighborhood, sorry, I'm old, I can't remember. They said, we've got too many deed restrictions going on. So they got together and they put one deed restriction. Was there anything really wrong with this deed restriction? No. No. Not really, because guess what? They still don't want you to have a horse in the backyard, or a cat, or 50 cats, or purple houses with pink polka dots. No problem, still, no problem. But then we had issues with the board a couple years ago. Bad issues. So me and the neighborhood got together and went, bullshit, we don't want these issues. And we supported Jim, what's his name, to be president because I knew his heart was in the right spot, even though I knew him on a landlord basis. There was not supposed to be all this chaos. There was not supposed to be me getting kicked off of Facebook groups because I said bullshit. There's not supposed to be neighbors hating neighbors because somebody decided that their 15-year-old son can't walk their frickin' dog. That's in your new deed restrictions. Oh yeah, you have to be an adult to walk your dog. Let me ask you another question. How many of you have an above ground pool? Yeah, I didn't think so.
I would like to have one.
Well, back on Vermilion, I had one. Back on Vermilion, I had one, and I had a fenced-in backyard. You guys want to watch me skinny dip? Climb the fence. When I birthed 3 kids, I don't care. Modesty was gone 25 years ago. All right? They're telling you these are clarifications, and they're not. They are changing things. They're telling you that this is for property value. Tell me how a 12-year-old kid who walks her dog and his dog and her dog to earn extra money for Christmas gifts is going to affect my property value. Too many of you adults are walking your
Motion to
dog
let her
and up your shit. I'm going to quit now. Only I just want to say that we as a neighborhood has every right to vote and direct our homes. We have the right to direct where we live. We have the right as a majority because, oh my God, I forgot, we're still Americans. Yes.
Jessica and Bryant Briggsby.
So our buildings are the same thing, we have the right to vote. Our homes are between 20 to 35 years old. These new standards that they want to enforce mimic that of brand new homes. I have a lot of friends that I work with who have brand new homes. These are identical. You can't expect our 20-year-old, 35-year-old home to withstand the same expectations of these brand new homes. I didn't buy here in 2011 to be enforced upon like that. I could have chosen then to buy in a brand new community, but I did not because of that. The next point I want to get to is the same thing as everyone else has been saying. I don't believe that a board should be allowed to vote and change rules on behalf of the homeowners without the homeowners voting. Saying that again. Okay? I'd also like to know where, when you put liens on houses,
one of our home was one of those because we had a messed up title. Where did all the money go from the liens? Because it was good chunks of money. And then I want to know, if you do enforce these rules, what's going to happen to families, like elderly people on fixed incomes, disabilities, things like that? Are you going to take into consideration that they might not be able to afford to pay somebody to mow their grass? Or paint their house?
Can't talk to
Or pull their feet? And and what happens in 20 years when we're all old and we can't do that? Or your husband gets or you're pregnant, like me, or your husband gets in a car accident or hurts his arm at work. No, what's going to happen? I don't think
they're going to take our house.
Community homeowners should be fined because they can't afford something. Right.
Ask them who pays for Signal 88 when their stopover is on.
So Signal 88, I had a ballpark figure of $12,000 a year. I know it's a little bit below that because I looked at your treasury, but we don't need that. There's really no reason for that. Just think if we took that amount of money and we put it back into the homes that need help fixing up, what we could do. You're outsourcing our money to strangers. You're not putting that back into our community.
Amen.
And I'd like to know, when do we get to elect new board members?
I didn't elect you guys. I've been here since 2011. When did they?
You also didn't answer my question when I asked him 2 weeks ago.
That's all.
January. And if you want me to answer why there hasn't been an election in the last couple of annual meetings, is because you have to have a quorum to have.
We don't hear you.
So, to address the election situation, at your annual membership meeting, you have elections, but you have to have a quorum of your membership, which right now we would potentially have one, which I believe is 30% of your entire community, to hold an election. So year after year, the current board members have rolled over because there hasn't been any participation.
Or
we got a quorum. Let's vote right now.
Yeah.
No, when you guys make a motion. We can make a motion right now.
Danny.
There's notice requirements for all of the owners that would have to get it. It has to be at least 14 days. There's an entire process. If you want me to go into detail, I can do that, but you can't.
We've never had that notice before.
Why can't we send a mailing out to every homeowner to vote on board members?
Before the annual meeting, that does happen.
No, that's never happened.
Years, and I have never once received a ballot in the mail. Never once.
I started today, so I can tell you the formal attorney that should have done those things for you, but I was not that person.
Doesn't matter. This board knows that we never know.
They knew.
This board knows that they weren't voted in by every single homeowner. This board was voted in by me and 50 other people.
I've lived here 30 years and never received a ballot, never been told there's going to be an election. And if you're going to have an election at a general membership meeting, you better have it in a bigger place than this because everybody will be there and all of you
Right,
will be
but
there.
have you guys had 30% of your community at the annual meeting?
Well, we can't wait to hold it somebody's house.
We don't know.
We've never been.
I was booted from Facebook, so I don't know what is going on.
Facebook
We've never been duly noticed.
not be communicating with its residents through Facebook. It's mailing.
But they have.
We've already talked about that. What the board meeting are for is for it to be an open forum and for these discussions to take place. So no, these conversations, these back and forth, these types of things should not be taking place over a Facebook chat.
I have a concern about that. They stop sending the monthly letters to the owners. We have a lot of disabled neighbors, people that cannot drive in the night, that cannot leave their houses, and they are not sending
Hard of
anymore
hearing.
the newsletter every month.
Yep.
How we expect be informed
about the things that they are doing. If it's not for Danny, I will not.
Yep.
Because I need to work.
Why is this meeting not being live
So the
streamed?
notices of the meetings are posted, what I was just told is on your website, always posted it out.
No, they are not.
Not everybody has internet.
We have Facebook, email, computer. So if you need to understand 30 years community and many people is involved to do technology.
Let's just go on.
The newsletter that's in our bylaws that hasn't been done for I don't know how many years was supposed to tell the neighborhood by mail what's going on. When was the last time y'all got a newsletter?
2013. Where in the bylaws does it say you're required to have a?
Oh, honey, if you don't know these things you made up, then I'm not gonna.
I have it right here. It doesn't say that.
So your defense to that is because it's not in there, an 80-year-old grandmother who maybe doesn't have internet doesn't get to have great notifications. That's your defense?
Your annual meetings have to be mailed 14 days in advance.
But they haven't been.
They never have been.
Ma'am, I've lived here for 29 years. When we first moved here, we got a newsletter. That's how you knew what was going on. If you wanted to attend the meeting, at least you knew what was going to be there. If you chose not to attend it, that's your right. But you at least were informed. They're relying on Facebook and all these other technological ways. I'm not too old for the technology, but that's not how I get my information. I want my newsletter. I want to see it in print. I've got elderly neighbors. They don't do technology.
Right, which is why the
We need
mailing
to have a way that everybody gets it.
So in order for someone to receive an email or for things to be submitted electronically, you have to log in.
It says right here in the bylaws. Sorry, it does.
Article 3,
In
Section
the
3.
newsletter.
In order for you to, so notice requirements are by statute. 48 hours in advance before a board meeting, 14 days before your annual meeting. I can give you the exact section. Anyway, so the mailings are appropriate, but the board was not necessarily informed by prior council. I've been working with them so that they know going forward how to operate, which is why I said we should not be communicating over Facebook, and they've stopped doing that since.
Thank you.
Why was it taking until now?
Like I said, I have not been the attorney for Gwinnett Springs very long. We've just gotten it right.
What are you waiting for?
Well, initially what I was doing is trying to get the clients for the fire council.
Next.
Who's next?
Okay, Brian Brooks.
So, Ryan, I live in Shadow Crest, question for, I guess, 3 board members, and then the East Online. Who told you, or why did you take down the Facebook page and stop streaming these meetings? So if you can't attend, if you are technology savvy, you can at least review, because there's a lot captured in here that doesn't get captured in the minutes. So, board, why did you stop that? And why did you remove it?
Why?
Was it on advice of council?
Yes.
And why?
Why?
So, because for Facebook Live, you can't control who's necessarily seeing. So, Facebook Live, those types of things, it's not member controlled. You don't have a login where you're restricted just for those people that this is open to. This is open to members.
It doesn't matter, it's public, it's not private, it's confidential.
It's not public record to every person.
If Joe Schmo on the street wanted to come and stand here right there for this meeting, he could. There's no
Yes, he could.
confidentiality.
Yes,
You're an association. Your meetings are for the members of the association. Your financial records.
How about this man finish what he started? Do you mind? And this guy's got the floor right now. So why don't the rest of you just shut up and let the man talk? And the next time you have something to say, sweetheart, stand up. We can't hear you. Yes, sir. Did you hear me?
So my question wasn't to the lawyer, it was to the board about the streaming and removing of it. So Facebook is just one tool. I get it. It's not the only tool, but it is a tool. So it looks like you're hiding something from the members. And if that is the best advice that legal counsel gives you, look around the room. I do not think members in this room are buying the legal counsel. So I would ask if someone would move to remove the lawyer. This lawyer is ineffective and not representing us. Would members, any of y'all do that?
They don't look like they're making a motion.
Any member, would any member?
I'll second that.
So, okay, obviously no member will. Next question, members.
Why make the motion?
I believe the board has to
The
make
board
the
has
motion,
to make a
correct?
motion.
They do.
Okay, the board is not making the motion. Members of the board, were any of you elected, ever?
No.
He might be making the motion on
Oh.
the phone, he's talking.
It's our president.
Stand up, Jim.
He make a motion. I didn't hear him talking.
Hold up the
I
phone.
was elected by the board itself.
No, we're
Because, would you like to hear me? I started coming to meetings, listening to what was being said. Some board members were gonna leave. I said I would volunteer. I gave the board information about my background, and I was voted on the board. And then other members quit, and Jim became president, and I started filling in as treasurer. It's not the job I wanted, but it was the job that needed to be done. That's how I got on the board, that's how most of us got on
Time's
the
up.
board.
So less than
Thank you for that, sir. Okay. I do appreciate that, but does the board realize overwhelming against these actions? Does the board recognize, looking around the room, does the board still think there's more people not here who support your actions than are here against it? Anybody on the board want to address it?
Because according to Facebook.
I don't think they're gonna answer you, man.
Does the board think there's more members outside of here? Or I know for a more fact members there are than- members that support what we're doing. More than you.
More than there are here.
More?
Yeah, Jim. You got
Then I
like
submit to the room that the board is out of touch.
Yes.
Whether they are or aren't, they should have changed.
Who's next?
Question.
Sorry, just by the show of our residents living here that show up in this meeting, just out of curiosity, if you're supportive of these amendments, can you please raise your hand? Against these amendments, can you please raise your hand?
Against.
Everyone was invited. Everybody was invited. Everybody was invited.
Who's next?
It's almost like they got something to hide.
Douglas Martanian.
I don't have a lot to say in addition to what the president might back there. I thought you said it better than anybody could say. But I have a couple of new next door neighbors. They've only been living in the association about a year and a half, and they've talked to me about when they've gotten letters from the association that saying they haven't done this or they haven't done that. And it seems to be very draconian to them. And I said, well, that's the word that was used in the newspapers a few years ago when they tried to pass a lot of so vile and vulgar. I went to a board member and said, you guys approve these kind of letters going out to members of the association? And now you hear about wanting to make, I guess, what do you call them, amendments or explanations of the rules or whatever. I can't put or clarifications. Why wouldn't you put that to a vote of all the association, all of the members? Why wouldn't you?
I moved here in 2003, and shortly after I moved here, I joined the board, as the board was short of members and it's volunteer and what have you. The major task at hand was, as someone alluded to earlier, that there were 8 different communities, I think it was 8, all on 8 different deed restrictions. So by law, we had to somehow consolidate those into one set of deed restrictions. At the meetings where we talked about that, I don't envy you now because I know how it was then. But the issue was that most people didn't even realize they were on a set of deed restrictions. What we were proposing was lighter and much more ambiguous than what they were actually on from their builders. But the point was is that we worked painstakingly to make those deed restrictions as ambiguous as possible, because we knew everybody was moving here because there wasn't a strict HOA. They knew we had an HOA, the entity existed, but they knew that things weren't really strictly enforced.
Like
So-
6-inch lawns.
Well, so for example, one of the things we did was, and I don't know if anybody's here from that group, but someone went around the entire neighborhood and measured every single flagpole in the community, and then put in the deed restrictions, none can exceed the tallest one we found. So we didn't just come up with random numbers and say, you know, well, if yours is 30 feet instead of 25, now you gotta chop it down. So we went through those efforts to keep it somewhat ambiguous, with the idea that as a community, if we had a problem with our neighbors, we would talk to our neighbors.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if it couldn't be resolved by that, then you could contact the HOA, and the HOA could write a letter, take some sort of action. But there was nobody walking around or patrolling and investigating every little detail of the home. And it was done that way intentionally. So to say that these are clarifications, I think is a misnomer, because I won't go back into the history of government, things like that, but there were rules. Certain people could vote, certain people couldn't. It was somewhat ambiguous. But in order to make a change as to who could now vote, an amendment had to be passed. They couldn't just slide in a clarification and say, okay, now women can vote. It had to be done by an amendment that people had to agree to. And I think that what people are seeing on these clarifications is where we kept it fairly ambiguous, this is going so far the other way. And I don't mean to pick on the attorney, I just, from the little bit I learned during that time, I would assume that part of that's probably because these are the way restrictions are written by your firm, which makes them cookie cutter for lawsuits. And that's not true, though, that's fair, but I mean, that was an assumption that I made.
It's true.
It's not true.
So why did you foreclose on a home in Glenville or across the road?
Historical context.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kurt, where's this?
Good evening. My name is Kurt Fuentes. My wife and I have been residents here for 21 years. I'm a retired federal agent, current law enforcement instructor. I'm also an attorney. I graduated from Cornell Law School. I passed New York and Florida bars, and I provide legal advice to my federal agency for close to the 31 years I served. The reason I tell you all that is because even though I'm not a practicing attorney at the moment, I have a lot of experience reading statutes, case law, and legal documents. Towards that end, I read the Florida statute on homeowners, 720.301. At no point did I find a provision that allowed clarification. I did find a provision that says that the boards are fiduciaries of the community, meaning they work for the best interest of the community, not for any select members. Towards that end, I looked at our current deed restrictions, which were done in 2013, and the current one. Oh, wait, before I get to that. I only have a few seconds, a few minutes to read the case law that was provided here today that supposedly allows these clarifications. The title is Beechwood Villas Condominium versus the Poors. Throughout this thing, the little bit time I had to look at, it talks a lot about condominiums. In fact, the court mentions in part of its ruling, Condominium Act 718, Florida statute, 1983. That's an entirely different statute than what we have. Again, I'm not a practicing attorney, but just common reading does seem that there are distinctions. All right, so we get to our current deed restrictions. Like everybody else, I saw the part where it says you should have a duly noticed meeting where 2/3 of the board and the majority of the homeowners vote on amendments. Like I said, I don't see anything about clarification. I contend these are amendments and that you need a duly noticed meeting. Can anybody honestly say that when you voted in 2013 for these deed restrictions and you saw that the part that says lot upkeep, it's a 1-sentence paragraph. You look at it now, it's 3 pages. I think there's 7 parts. Does any homeowner in 2013 who voted for this realize that he's going to have to now put a fence around his OC unit that the developer put at the side of his house. Anybody honestly say that anybody could have foresaw that? Or again, the thing about the kids walking the dog. And this thing is rife with that type of stuff. Again, if we have a duly noticed meeting, 2/3 of the board votes for it, the majority of the homeowners vote for it, I'm done. I listen to everything you say. I will follow the law. But until then, I have to contest it. Again, I am not a practicing attorney, but I know one.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Johnny Yarla. I live on Englecrest. And I just would like to say two things. First of all, I'm very impressed with everybody's care and participation in this meeting. Actually, that's 3 things now. The first thing I want to mention is that I think we all realize that there are a few houses that may be in disrepair. There may be some yards that need some help. And I think that might be the source of where some of these issues that our board wants to address. But what I want to say is there's other ways that we can solve this problem, or whatever you want to call it. Do you guys know that there's a Facebook group out there called Neighbors Helping Neighbors? Okay, so this is a group that facilitates helping people get their house in order, whatever it may be. That's the type of effort that I think we should be doing to address this type of a problem.
Amen.
We help each other. Let's help each other. Let's organize and help each other. If somebody is sick, or if they're, they have a disability, let's help. Let's not impose rules that are going to create fines and then litigation that we're going to pay for.
But someone lives in the house. Everybody lets the houses go to crap. No one says anything. Goes, hey, let me help you fix your fence. So it gets to this point. I understand the clarification stuff is stupid. Some don't even make any sense. But we're saying this now as a community. Well, why didn't we do this 10 years ago? Why didn't we help each other then? Why does it have to come down to this?
We did.
For it to happen?
We're not the ones that came up with this stupid idea in the first place. I'd love to help my neighbors.
The thing is, these people volunteered to be here, okay?
That doesn't.
None of you, nobody here.
That doesn't give them the right to do what they're doing.
Is it your 3 minutes?
Get it.
Yeah, that's a tired argument.
Yeah.
It's a tired
Nah, I ain't buying what you're selling. Stop quiet. Let him speak.
Hey! Hi! Shh. Let the man finish.
I think that the actions of the board have brought this problem to light, and I can't change the past, but we can change the future together. One more point, if my 3 minutes aren't up yet.
Yeah, give you a little extra time.
He was interrupted by somebody. He gets his time.
Do people here have teenage children that are going for Bright Futures scholarship? Is anybody here? A few people? As a part of the Bright Future Scholarship, you're required to serve 100 hours of community service. I don't like the idea of sending my kids far away and they're apart from me. I want to serve with them together. Wouldn't this be a great way for us to improve our community?
You have to be
Excuse me.
Organization.
Excuse me.
Let's do it. Let's become approved.
I already took it upon myself. I saw on TV about kids that would mow lawns, and then they mow like 50 lawns, and then they get a black t-shirt. I have a phone call into Riverview High School. I'm waiting for one of the assistant principals to call me back about actually doing that in our neighborhood. Now, one of the things that I was told might be a deterrent for them to approve it was that they wouldn't have someone to to clock the hours. I am volunteering to keep record of kids' hours when they're doing yard work or whatever. So, and the only other problem I could foresee would be insurance purposes if a child were to get hurt. So we'd have to have, you know, waivers signed. But I do have a phone call into the high school. I am waiting for them. I did it on my own. I didn't, you know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Smith. I'm referring my time to Danny.
All right. Hey, just real quick, guys. You know, it was mentioned before, and I've seen it mentioned on Facebook, that this issue is tearing our neighborhood apart, and I wholly disagree with that. Almost half of the people in this room, I came to your houses, I spoke to you face to face. Many of you didn't even know this was going on, okay? And you know, I'm actually really thankful that Jim's been so hard on this thing, because it really motivated me to get out there and meet a lot of really good people, and I made a lot of really good friends while I was out there. So I want to say, this isn't tearing our neighborhood apart. It's just tearing us away from these board members who don't want to listen to us.
Nothing says they don't agree with us. I mean, I'm on this, but they might agree with us. They haven't said anything.
I asked. They won't tell. And to John's point about the neighbors helping neighbors and us looking out for each other, this has also been a really good opportunity to address that issue. I know that I've been in conversation with John and a few others, and I spoke to her the other day, to where we're looking at creating a roster, like a call-down roster of able-bodied people within the neighborhood who are willing to mow yards, fix fences, and things like that. Because we know that some people just aren't willing to ask for the help. It might be embarrassing or whatever. So we want to create that call-down roster, so it is somewhat anonymous, so it's not just a mass blast out there, and it's like, hey, this person can't mow their yard. It's going to be a very targeted thing. And once we get this situation under control, we're going to build that up. But in order to do that, I think that first we're going to have to remove a few people from the board. So before I get talking, I would like for Valerie and Jim to step down. You there, Jim? Buddy? Can you hear me? Jim, it's me again. Okay, anyway, I'd like for both of you guys to step down. We can get this moving forward. Is that going to happen today?
No.
Okay, cool. Didn't think so. So some things that I'm going to talk about. Some things I'm going to talk about is secret meetings, right? So I'm going to read this real quick. A meeting of the board of directors of an association occurs whenever a quorum of the board, which is the majority of them, or I don't know, whatever legal stuff that she might say, gathers to conduct association business. Meetings of the board must be open to all members, that's you people, except for meetings between the board and its attorney with respect to proposed or pending litigation, where the contents of the discussion would otherwise be governed by the attorney-client privilege, like getting together on the weekend to talk about sending me a cease and desist order for talking. And those minutes should be recorded. So some members of the board might not be aware of this, but I know that Jim is, and I certainly know that you're aware of it, Val, that even if you're in a text message group and you're talking to each other and maybe you're making votes or talking about how you're going to vote at the next meeting or making motions, it's actually against the law, right? Now, you might not be able to go to jail for it, but when we sue you, because we will, and we'll see you there, that's going to come up. And when you're on the stand and you're admitting to these things or lying about them and perjuring yourself or pleading the fifth, it's going to become very apparent that something's going on, because you guys aren't the only board members who are sitting here right now, right? So there are people that are no longer on the board, and maybe you slapped them with something legal. I don't know if you did or not, but you probably did. And when they get put up on the stand, what do you think they're going to say? Well, they're going to tell the truth, okay? Scott, I don't think you're going to lie up there. I don't know Kim. I assume she's not going to lie up there. I know that Jim will probably lie up there. And I don't know about Val. Maybe she just won't show up. But the point that I'm making is the board members who are above board, you need to start thinking about yourselves. Because if you are involved in these secret meetings, like let's just say last week you guys did a secret meeting to vote off 2 board members. I'm not saying that happened, I'm just saying let's just say. And that there was a vote proposed or a motion proposed to vote off those 2 board members. Let's just say. That is a quorum of the board. Okay, that is a meeting. And it wasn't an emergency meeting either, if it happened. I'm not saying it did. Now, if that is something that you guys have been doing all this time as a practice, which I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm sure that once it gets in court, it'll be apparent to a judge this isn't just like something that happens every so often. No, it happens quite often, and Jim knows it because he does it all the time.
That's your time, by the way.
Anybody want to defer time?
A motion.
Okay, there we go. So when you're sitting there in a courtroom, because you will be, Are you comfortable saying under oath that these secret meetings that you're doing without notification of the neighbors, of the association, these secret meetings that you guys are doing, are you comfortable saying that that's an okay practice? Are you comfortable with that? I'm warning you now, because it will happen. Okay? Let Jim talk. What's he got to say? Stand up when you're speaking, Jim. Use your man voice.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. So anyway, I just want everybody to know that this is something that may have been going on. And what do you think about members of the board meeting in private, in secret, without notifying you? That's against the law. That's against Florida statutes. Now, if I was on the board and I was coerced to do that, or I didn't know what the rules were, and the HOA president or another board member said, hey, it's totally cool, let's get on this private chat and we'll talk about board business, we'll all get together, make votes, or talk about agenda items together, not by email, but as a group, I would be pretty upset. I would be pretty upset if I was misled. And if I was somebody who was misleading those people, well, I would be concerned about how that's going to look when it's read back in court. Just something I want to pose to you guys. Oh yeah, and I volunteered to be a member of the board. I want to be on the board of directors. I didn't see the sign sheet. Who's got it? It went around. Did it disappear?
Oh, it's right there.
Okay. Yeah, if I could just get that. So something that folks may not realize is in the past 2 years since this board's been in control, every single person that has volunteered for the board, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, because I know you tell the truth, everyone who's volunteered for the board has been brought on, right? A lot of times those are people that they are of the same mind. There's not a lot of diversity of thought that you see up here. So when I'm looking at this...
Volunteer.
No, I understand. I got you. If I was in your seat, anyone who volunteered, I'd bring them on board. But my question would be is, we got a long list of people that want to be on the DRCC, and I want to be on the board of directors. And I suspect you're going to tell me no. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm volunteering now. How does it normally work in these meetings when somebody volunteers for the board, Scott?
Usually we get to know the person or find out a little bit about them and talk to them. I don't know you from Adam.
You know, I've been to your house, Scott. You know now.
No, I don't. Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Do you remember all the things that I gave you, Scott? You remember what I told you when that family's house burned down? Do you not remember that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Not
I
all
came
of
to
it.
your house and I gave
Not
you
all of it. But I'm saying I don't know you personally.
Okay. Hey, Scott, I came to your house and I gave you a crock pot. I gave you an almost brand new iPhone 6 Plus to give that family because they lost their iPads. Right. I volunteered to mow their yard every single week and
I told them.
I got it. But you're telling me you don't know what kind of person I am? Nobody in this knew about this. No one in this room knew about this. Only you. And you're telling me you don't know me from Adam and you don't know what kind of person I am and I did that? Do you think that that's the action?
You know how many people came to my door
A
and
lot.
dropped off
A lot.
stuff? A lot of people.
I understand.
I don't remember you. That
Okay.
was 9 months ago.
I'll take your word for it.
If
You know
I meet
now.
somebody one time, I'm not going to necessarily know you. Don't act like you do.
You know now. Is what I'm saying.
Next.
You know now.
Next.
Am I going to be added to the board, Scott?
Just don't presume that I know you. I'm not saying that.
Am I going to be added to the board? Is there going to be a motion?
That's my legal pad. Danny.
Danny, no one on the board for the last 2 years was ever voted on by ballot, ever.
Right.
There was 10 to 30 to 40 possible people at a meeting, and everyone on the present board, with a few exceptions, said, hey, I'll do it, and the 30 of us that was over at the church went, go for it, we vote you in. We didn't know you from hell, we didn't know you from Adam, you said you wanted the job, we blessed you and voted you in. But there was only 40 people, and half of those were couples.
So can
All
I
right,
what?
so 20 households
Yeah.
voted you people
I
in.
wasn't voted on at the church, so I'm not that person.
Kimberly, is this
It's
your
a no.
You
first
were
time
sitting
sitting
next
behind the
to me
desk?
at the
Is
church
this your
meeting.
first
I
time
was
sitting
not
behind the
voted
desk?
in.
How well does Scott know you? How well do you know
That's all I'm
Scott?
saying.
Fred Smith?
I just got one question and it's directed to Valerie. You said earlier that there has been no fines from the DRCC and there hasn't been a DRCC. Is that correct?
There have been no fines for the DRCC. There has been a DRCC intermittently,
Okay.
but at current time, they're still building a DRCC.
So is it your guys' or the DRCC's responsibility to come up and knock on people's doors?
No.
Okay, your husband and I said this the last 3 meetings in front of on the internet, and it was posted above the board, and you no, they don't knock. I got your husband on my camera threatening my wife about a mobile trailer that was parked in our driveway. KC. Again, about a month and a half ago, your husband again come up and got in my face about my son's on a 4-wheeler, stating he's a DRCC person and this, that, and the other, gonna levy fines on us, threatening us. So, answer that. How is he able to go to our house and knock on our door? And you can't shut me off because I have the video of him, your husband, knocking on our doors.
Well, that's illegal, right? I believe that's illegal.
I can't speak for him.
Of course not.
So you're on the board, though.
But you are on the board, and he's on the
huge conflict of
DRCC.
interest.
You know, and I was shut down the last 3 times, but I am not being shut down tonight.
That's right.
And I do have the video.
I also have threatening messages from him saying he's the president and he could do what he wants.
That is correct. That is exactly what he told me 3 weeks ago.
She's on the board. It's illegal.
3 weeks ago in my yard. And I actually put my shirt up like this and I had a little something for him. Because he was trespassing. And he left very quick. Ask him if he remembers me. Because he knows where I live. And he can come right over. And we can speak about it. And that's all I gotta say. And I vote to get all of you guys off this board. Immediately.
Corruption.
Next.
Tricia? Haverhill?
Haverly.
Hi, my name is Trish Haverhill. I live on Winville Court. And it's a matter of trust. It's a matter of when we all bought and we didn't want the real strict restrictions. Like, you're turning this into jail. You're turning it into fish shop, and you're turning it into jail. And I can guarantee you, these restrictions aren't gonna be enforced for $30 a year. So we all know what's gonna happen. In the future, I also volunteer to become on the board, so I know you have receipts. But it's a matter of trust. I don't want you to tell me what type of fence I can buy. I understand that you don't want me to get a pink fence. I wouldn't get a pink fence. There are certain of natural colors, but now I see some beautiful tan fences out there, but now they have to be white. Like, this is not a dictatorship. Like, we didn't sign on for this. And I've only been here 6 years. First, I also want to apologize because this is my first meeting. So shame on me. So you guys go to the meeting every, I apologize, but I can guarantee you, you will remember me for the rest because I will be here every month. Because I care about we have to work together. I love you. Because we do have to fix up the priorities. I took a walk, I have family visiting this week, and we walked, and we do need an HOA. We have people out there that need help get their yards up, because if your neighbor's yard goes to crap, it affects your value, right?
No.
Doesn't. That's not, the CLA doesn't affect that.
Would you buy a house? You know what I mean? What I'm saying is,
Yep.
if we work together and help people that are struggling, I mean, we could get the kids to volunteer. If everyone in this room, or how many houses are in?
1,100.
1,100 houses. If we get 500 of those houses to have one person volunteer 1 hour, imagine what we could get done together.
Wait a minute.
And work
How many
together.
houses have a fence around their air conditioner? Nobody. I mean,
I took a poll about 15%, so 85% of you guys are in violation.
Violators.
houses in Spain on the walk in front of their door. I mean, these Nazis are going to come up and look right in front of your door to see if you, not on the sidewalk, but the walk leading up to your house.
I don't find it.
They don't like your window curtains if they don't match your house color.
Okay.
We don't need ridiculous things like you're saying about the sidewalks. That is ridiculous. The whole thing about not letting a 12-year-old kid walk a dog. Come on now. And I have not seen one cat on a leash either. And I want to know how you're going to enforce that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, we don't need them.
Okay.
My husband is We have a sudden passion for the community, correct? Let's
Yep.
work together, let us management. This is not clarifications, that's BS. These are amendments.
Nate Watson.
All right, go Nate. I'm gonna make this quick. Right? We have 3 board members, but the attorney's been doing all the talking, she's not on the board. But we're all adults. Everybody that lives in my neighborhood are adults. The only thing we need an HOA for is when we're having a problem with one another and somebody needs to step in to mediate. I'll tell you that if my neighbors have something wrong with my yard, they come and talk to me. If I have something wrong in their yard, I'll go and talk to them. We work together. We're all adults. We don't need an HOA to send Signal 88 around to take a look at our yards to tell us what we got going on. We can police that ourselves. Right? Save some money. I've tried to work with the HOA. I've sent an email. Nobody ever answered it. I've called Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, the school board, the woman that handles the school board thing. I've talked to the Hillsborough County School Board Transportation, school transportation, about the traffic going in and out of Boyette Oaks. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I can't get in and out of my driveway. You want to talk about, somebody wants to talk about property value? Who's going to buy a dang house if you can't get in your dang driveway?
You can't even get
All right? But everybody tells me to include the HOA. Everybody says, well, that's a public road. We can't do anything about it. But yet, my neighbors, I used to work for FEMA as a contractor. I don't do it anymore. I got all the time in the world to devote to this. I travel around in a brand new RV. I usually go out once every 2 weeks. Not anymore. But my neighbors asked me to park my RV on the road in front of my house. This is public. It's public. HOA, Sheriff's Department, everybody else says they can't do anything about it. But the reason why my neighbors want me to park it there is because we have these cars from people who have kids going to school that don't even live in the community or around the community. They give a false address and they pick kids up at a bus stop right there. They park in our yards. They park in, they're all over the place in that court. But when I park the RV there, nobody goes in. Now, according to your rules, I have 1 week before a trip, 1 week after a trip. Like I said, I'm hardly there 2 weeks. Signal 88 comes around. I've only been home for about 3 days. Guess who got a letter? I don't mind rules. I don't mind regulations. Like Sam, 27 years in the military. I'm used to rules. All right? I'll follow rules. But they have to be appropriate. And they have to go about making these rules appropriately. I want something done about that road. I want something done about the traffic. You go and say, if you're going to set rules for me on that public road, set the rules for everybody that's going to be in that community on that public road. I want it looked at. All right? Solar panels. I know it's the thing, you got solar panels. I'm energy conscious. Yeah, I put solar panels in. You going to tell me to take them out? I don't think so. All right? I live on a corner lot, which means my air condition, my pool equipment, everything's on the back of my house. In the back of my house. Which is, by the way, according to your thing, I can't park an RV in front of my house on the lawn. I can't park it on the side of my house on the lawn. You didn't say anything about my backyard. So it's in my backyard. I'm waiting for somebody to come around and give me another letter. All right? My house is visible all the way around from the road. Nothing I can do about it. Am I putting a fence around my air conditioner and all this other thing simply because you all want me to? It hasn't been voted on. I don't think anybody else wants to go around and put a fence around their air conditioner.
Your yard's fine with me, bro.
My neighbors, nobody's complaining about that. So what I want to do is I want to be on the board. I got all the time in the world to devote to it. And the violations, how do you go about sending out the violations? Oh, I know. You send it by mail, but you don't send me anything by mail telling me when a board meeting is. But you'll send me a violation by mail?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. What if I didn't get the violation? How can you prove I had the violation? Because it didn't come to me registered mail either.
They don't make them sign anyways if it's registered mail.
Oh, okay.
Certified.
So, I guess I didn't get the violation.
Heather Watson.
Heather, you want?
Oh, I defer my time to Danny.
So everybody.
I think Kimberly wants to know his name.
My name's Roy Watson. I go by name.
Nominated.
I'm right here.
Oh, you're already on it. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
but
You can nominate him.
real quick, I'm gonna take a little piece of her time if you don't mind.
Okay.
Like I said, I live in Boyette Oaks. Check with people that's lived there forever. All right, from the very start of the time. All right, I check with people in Paddock Oaks and check with people in Belhammond Creek. Belhammond Creek and Paddock Oaks isn't part of this. Anybody here from Paddock Oaks and Belhammond Creek?
They're not part of our.
Why all of a sudden you take the fence down, they take that fence down, and we get absorbed into Boyette Springs? So we've been paying dues to somebody on the board that we shouldn't be a part of in the first place. But I have my name on there to be on the board if it don't get figured out.
So just real quick, guys, this is kind of important because the lawyer is over here saying that they have the authority to make rules and regulations unilaterally and they don't need your vote. But she cited 11.2 rules and regulations in one of our governing documents, the deed restriction. So read along with me if you would, Tiff. As provided in the bylaws, the association from time to time may adopt, alter, amend, rescind, doesn't say clarify, and enforce reasonable rules and regulations governing use of properties, blah, blah, blah. If you go back to the front of the document where you have definitions, it says clearly, association shall mean Boyette Springs Property Owners Association, its successors, and assigns, right? It doesn't say board, it says association. If you're in the association, raise your hand. Okay, why don't you just throw this crap out? What do we do? Do you really want to take this to the mat?
I vote to throw the shit out.
We're not sitting down. We're done with this. We're going to recall these people here next month, okay? They're going to be gone. You think you're still going to be here?
Well, I'll let you know, first of all, you can't recall when it's an election.
You hear that? We can't recall. They are clinging to their power like they got their claws in.
Shh. Does not allow a recall within 60 days of an annual meeting. You have an election coming up, therefore.
When?
What day? What day? What day?
You referred to 11.2 as your authority to amend from time to time. We just said, we are the association, they are the board. The board can't amend from time to time. We can amend from time to time. No, that's what it says.
She's gonna quote some case law from some other garbage. We don't need a lawyer to tell us how to run our neighborhood.
It's association. Is it association or board? Which one can amend?
The board is elected or appointed.
No. You turn it to agree. The board is the board of directors of the association. You refer to 11.2. You refer to 11.2. It says the association, not the board. The association can amend from time to time.
Okay, look, the board knows they're wrong. They have their attorney here. They're exercising their right to remain silent. All right? They know they're wrong.
But who's paying for their attorney?
Yeah.
We are.
Next speaker, please.
Nancy and Ron Huston.
Nancy and Ron.
Okay. Kimberly Cole.
Sorry, man.
Are we supposed to meet later and talk about the specifics of these changes? Are you saying it's going into play? Is there going to be another meeting where there is a vote? What's the end result supposed to be from this week? Other than everybody complaining?
They're going to do whatever they want.
If they left up the board, the HOA page, if they left that up and you'd gone to minute 1320 of that meeting, you would see exactly what they plan to do. That's why they're not talking. It's why their lawyer's talking. They absolutely plan on doing exactly what they're telling you right now. They don't care what we say. They don't care about our vote. They're going to use legalese to do what they want and what she wants. So every member of this board right now needs to think about what they're on board with doing against their homeowners. If you have a heart.
So can I ask the board, is that the truth? I mean, is our purpose for being here just to get stuff off our chest?
Are you wasting our
Or are we
time?
actually making a difference?
No, the whole point of this meeting was simply to get your opinions of this document.
How many people here are here because you got a letter from somebody at your door?
Yeah.
Not because of the board.
So does that mean you change your mind?
What we received stated does that mean there are potential changes, or does that mean that it's actually final and it's just for us?
Let's defer the
There has not been a vote or even a motion to accept it at all.
So what's the next step?
Your
Your
page said that you're voting on this tonight. That's what your HOA page.
Your HOA page
So you lied?
said that you are voting tonight.
Yep.
Okay, without putting too fine a point on it, the board member who posted that freely admitted.
Yes, he did.
That you did that by mistake. By
He freely
mistake.
admitted it on the
I
Facebook
said-
group. He never went to the page and then changed it. He
I'm
left it on the
telling you,
page.
he admitted he made a mistake.
On the Facebook
What do you want me to
group,
tell you?
not the official HOA
I
page.
told you. I told you.
How do you guys vote? Huh? Didn't you say you're gonna vote tonight? Okay, let's go. Let's go all this. Go ahead and take your vote.
Table until February.
Yes.
Hey, if they don't vote tonight, we all need to keep coming back every HOA meeting till they do get the vote and we voice our opinion. They have to. If they don't, they're going to do whatever they want to do.
Well, they were right there.
They are.
said they're
You
gonna
are
vote.
correct.
Let's
But
vote.
they are. But we see that they're going to do what they want to do. The thing is, we have to not give them the option. We have to keep showing up and make our voices heard. It's the only way it's going to work.
This is what they want to do. They want to wait until all y'all go back to sleep and there's only 5 people showing up for an HOA meeting. And once that happens, they're going to be like, all right, cool, we'll pass this through. Because, Aaron, we all watched that video where Val said on tape at minute 13 of the last meeting that they were going to be voting on this when she was answering. I don't know if it was you at that last meeting that she was talking to, but you were there. Yeah, do you remember? When she said they're going to vote on it. And now they're trying to say, oh, no. We wanted you guys to come in. Well, how come you heard about it from me?
Are we expecting this to carry over for additional discussion?
No, right now, I will go ahead and make the motion that we table all of this. We wanted to hear from the community
Table it till we
hear
Vote on
what you
it.
guys
Don't
had to say,
table
which
it.
is what we did tonight, and that's what we wanted to do.
Table it till when?
Today's meeting is just to consider.
Don't
this
table it,
option.
vote it up or down.
That's how we said last night.
Okay, well, we consider it the option. The option is we don't.
Sir, you cannot be recorded with that light shining.
Until February, we've
I'm
got
sorry.
Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas, we've got January chaos. At the February, maybe that might be your general meeting. We can table it to then, we can vote on a new board. This crap doesn't get snuck through while the rest of us are trying to enjoy the frickin' holidays.
Can we just vote to shoot
Just
it
let it
down?
go. You made a motion, follow through with it.
We can't make a vote to
Well,
deny
no,
it. We don't want it.
Well,
We
no,
don't get a vote.
No, what she said is, you brought this meeting to consider that. All right, let's consider
I
it.
want a table.
I say no.
Shoot it down.
And if you're going to table it, and we don't have a say so in it, it's going to be tabled. I want a date now.
Table till when?
I just want to say no.
We wish we could say that. We're not gonna vote on it tonight. Our best option is to table right this second. We're not gonna finish it tonight. We're not gonna vote on it tonight.
Oh, now we have a motion on the table.
Yeah.
No, they're
I
not.
want to request as a homeowner of this association, the next time that we're talking about this issue, I will love to have all the board members in front.
Correct.
Right.
Not the lawyer and not just 2 or 3 of them. I want all of them, because if they have the face to try to pass this, that will be affect all our lives. Because listen, I'm not against the rules, because everybody has rules in the home, school, work. I'm not against of that, but I like to say this, that I read. Regulation and rules must be the voice of the reason And that is why I'm asking to put this to the homeowners vote, because none of that make voice of the reason.
Yes.
You are taking lives apart for people that is disabled. I'm sorry. And I want to speak to the board and request the homeowners vote, remove the HOA council and remove the board member. Thank you.
Yep, I agree. So I will go ahead and make the motion that we table until February, and that's fine.
Oh, I'll second
To our meeting, to the meeting in February.
It's a second Wednesday.
And that would be after a new board would be elected. Yes.
And if I may,
March.
Yeah,
if I
table
may,
it to
I'm on the
March.
list to speak. I'd like to go ahead and take about 3 minutes because the library's about to close here in
Yes.
about 6. My name's Richard Bromond. I live on the Main Street of Fruitwood. I just would like to thank you. I want to thank you for galvanizing the community. I want to thank you for bringing us all out and bringing people, minus the flippant remarks earlier about the 5 or 6 people that actually come to the board meetings. I hate to tell you, those days are over.
Yes.
Yeah, I second March.
So the date is for March. This way we've already had the annual election, so a new board will be here hopefully, and hopefully
Oh, it will be.
you guys come back. So.
She seconded it, right? Kimberly seconded it?
I am seconding that it's pushed until December.
And we'll take all
Okay.
in favor at this point.
Vote.
They all agree, thank you. We're gonna leave now.
And this time I make a motion that we adjourn to deliberate.
I just want one question answered.
Yes, motion passed.
All in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Article 4, Section 3.
We're done.
Removal.
The library.
Any director may be removed from the board at any
That's what happens when you poke the bear.
All we have to do is put in for the election and nominate off the floor, right?
Right.
And then we get to vote, right?
Right.
And it's supposed to be on free paper, which they haven't done, because it says in our bylaws.
And we go to,